Hello, this is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page, where I talk about movies that I believe need to be talked about more. Tonight's film is 1976's Jess Franco's Mondo Erotico. I'm going to black out some of the cover here. Okay, all right, you can see some of it right there. And this is part of the Jess Franco Golden Goya collection again, region-free German Blu-ray, all produced by Erwin C. Dietrich. This film was written by Erwin C. Dietrich and directed by Jess Franco, and Jess Franco was also director of photography. Um, the music in this film was by Walter Baumgartner, who also did the music in Girls in the Night Traffic, which I also did a review of on this YouTube page. You're also going to notice that since they were both done in the same year, Girls in the Night Traffic and Mondo Erotico, that you're also going to see some crossover. In particular, the actor, there's some actors, and also a whole set, a whole scene, and even a white carpeted rug that seems to be in both. So I believe that possibly, quite possibly, Jess Franco was filming both of these movies very close, or even simultaneously. I'm not sure, but this is Mondo Erotico. Now, let's get into the music first of this film. The music in this film is really kind of spans a lot of different places. I mean, you really have a sultry kind of jazzy number throughout, but then you have a lot of sections of this film that really don't have that don't seem to have music, or that's not noticeable. You also have areas where the music is, you have sitar music, which is very similar in ways to Girls in the Night Traffic sitar music. It's the same sitar player, though, and the same club from Girls in the Night Traffic. You also have, you just have jazzy, groovy, adult, kind of porno type music in this film. And it's good. I mean, it's nothing that's really, there's a couple sections. I mean, it really plays in the background. It's not in the foreground. It's not loud. For the most part, there's one like Middle Eastern type section where the sitar music is really in the forefront. I mean, it's really there. But for the most part, this sultry, jazzy, kind of erotic music is kind of playing throughout, and it's all good. It's all good stuff, especially in the menu screen. You'll kind of hear like the main theme. Jess Franco's style in this film. Well, first and foremost, not that it's like advertised on here, but this is a hardcore film. This is definitely an adult film that takes Jess Franco's normal explicitness and takes it to much more of a porno level. There are insert shots in here, which is bizarre because there's also real, oral sex going on in here, and real kind of fingers and things like that. But there's insert shots in here kind of strewn throughout. And that's not to say that there isn't real sex actually happening at times, but it seems like most of the time intercourse is almost done in insert shot ways. Now, Jess Franco's style, he's not really doing these like crazy zooms, even though this is a kind of a hardcore adult film. He's not really doing crazy zooms in here, and he is incorporating a lot of style and a lot of cool things with lighting in here. There's a lot of there's this one kind of sex show that has this wild lighting up above and in the club, and then the house lights come on. You have some really wild red lighting, which is reminiscent to Girls in the Night Traffic in the last scene of that film. In the Middle Eastern section of this film, you also have just a lot of spotlight type stuff, a lot of spotlights kind of cascading in different sections of this film, kind of just white spotlighted, lighting. And Jess Franco is lingering also on some artwork, some kind of pornographic artwork, sexual artwork, erotic artwork, in various scenes in a particular room that kind of open the movie and close the movie. So he's doing things with his camera, and he's every once in a while doing things with focus. But he's more subtle in this film. Now, I'm going to say that the environments of this film, just like Girls in the Night Traffic, seem to all be sets. And some of the sets are very simplistic. I mean, it almost looks like a theater show. It almost looks like you're watching theater. I mean, like literally like black walls, and a spotlight. And it's like a makeshift classroom, or it's a makeshift, tribal ceremony, or which reminded me a bit of the beginning of the movie Slaves, or so it's definitely sets. Now, while that's said, we're traveling all over the world in this film. Because it's a Mondo sex film, a Mondo porno. So you're traveling all over the world and you are getting some really nice shots of various places, San Francisco, 42nd Street, New York. You're getting, shots of just all over the world. Amsterdam. And so that kind of splits up throughout the film. I don't know if those shots were actually taken or if they were stock footage or footage that was taken by Franco from other moments or times, but the footage all looks great. And the remastering job on these Golden Goya Collection Blu-rays, these region-free Blu-rays, looks freaking unbelievable. So know that right off the bat. The way this film goes is we have a host, and the host is on this old television. You can see the rim of the television around the screen, and you have this host, and you have this naked host, and she is taking you through all of the sexual situations all over the world, but she's also going with you and is involved or trying out or interviewing the various people. Now, this host, I believe her name is Esther Moser. She was in Girls in the Night Traffic. She's this redheaded woman, I believe very sexually attractive, very erotic, the perfect host. I really believe this woman, made this film. She totally made this film. And she kind of takes you through. And there are some, there are hardcore, scenes in this film, and I'm not like the 100% the most, the biggest fan of like hardcore scenes, especially when things are, getting kind of in the nitty gritty, up close and personal. I like I like explicit stuff, but sometimes some hardcore stuff, like the insert shots, I'm not a huge fan of. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind more of the real stuff, but the insert shots, not a huge fan. But this film is the insert shots aren't that long, and they don't happen all the time. But this film is very creative sexually, and almost flat out hilarious at times. Now, that's not to say this film does not have dark moments, because the film opens up in an extremely non-explicit sexually manner at a black mass that's actually quite creepy, with prayers to Lucifer and the like. I mean, the movie starts off very dark, which is bizarre, and then we just go from one crazy sexual scenario to another. And our host is amazing. I mean, everything from masturbation to orgies to a woman who bathes in sperm, who's 80 years old, but now she looks like she's 20, and you get to see the collection of sperm, how they're collecting it. I mean, it's freaking crazy. There's a sex ed class where the host is teaching people how to masturbate, and even teaches a gay man how to use a dildo. I mean, there is some shocking, wild stuff in here that's also like slightly hilarious, and you can almost sense Jess Franco's humor, amidst the eroticism of this film. There's a deflowering ceremony. You don't know how much of this is true, like, in terms of like the facts. In this tribal area, the godfather deflowers the daughter before she has sex with her husband, stuff like that. And we also have this very bizarre type of non-touching sexual acts in the Middle East, which I found to be one of the most erotic kind of scenes in the film, in the red lighting. And another actress from Girls in the Night Traffic, who she was actually dressed the same way in Girls in the Night Traffic, and Jess Franco was almost using maybe her during that time, already dressed. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because most of the cast from every one of the sexual situations all over the world is the same, but dressed differently. Sometimes with like a bad mustache and things like that. And there's chanting, there's tribal chanting with Eric Falk, and there's wild stuff here, and the stories, I believe, are very, very creative in here. This is, make no qualms about it, this is an adult film. I mean, there's a guy getting taught in a sex class how to insert his penis into a blow-up doll, and you see it happening. That was real. That wasn't an insert shot on a plastic blow-up doll. But there's funny, weird things in here, like the blow-up doll is making noises like moaning. Like, you can almost hear like Franco's humor in that. Like, the blow-up doll doesn't make noises, but it's making noises for us, the viewer, watching this at home. And this film, there's a section where she interviews a real sadomasochistic, mistress, I think her name was like Mistress Lucifer or something. And our host goes there with us, and in a freaking crazy scene as this guy's being, beaten into getting hard. The mistress is beating him, and our host is riding around on his back. And I mean, just wild, wild stuff. And again, while these are all sets, it really works for this film. It really works for me. The sets kind of bring this weird vibe, and it's not your typical porno sets. These are Franco sets, so there's atmosphere. There's a sense of lighting. There's a sense of weirdness and bizarreness, especially in the Black Mass. And the Black Mass leader, which is hilarious, soon plays a gay man. Now, this film is extremely politically incorrect. Make no qualms about it. From just across the board. And this film really made me think. When you have a film of this nature, and this film was definitely probably shown in adult theaters, the only place it could have been. When you have a film like this, you're really kind of you're able to do whatever you want. I mean, from a Black Mass to a sex show in Amsterdam, all the, and there's lots of cool dancing in this film. There's lots of Jess Franco type dancing, groovy 70s, late 70s dancing in this film. So it really runs the whole gamut. Now, while I say, there are hardcore inserts in this film, you're not seeing ejaculation. You're not seeing things like that. You're not seeing ejaculation. This is not Debbie Does Dallas, okay? It's not like that. But it's very, very explicit, orally, fingers, all genitalia, the whole nine, and insert shots. But it's not a Debbie Does Dallas type of film. And like I said, this film actually is really, really creative and has a really cool late night erotic vibe. And our host closes the movie out on the old television screen. She's like this porno Elvira, and at the, she's touching herself, she's inviting the viewer to put the minors to bed, and this is for the adults only, welcome to this journey, and this adventure. This is a really unknown Jess Franco film, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, this is a wild, film for adults here. This is Jess Franco's Mondo Erotico, and you can get this, and it says uncut version on the back. I mean, there's no rating on the back here, but obviously this is, pretty uncut. But like I said, it's not a quote unquote porno. So it really is it's a bizarre film, but it's a Mondo film, but it's Jess Franco's version of a Mondo film, kind of using the same actors and things like that. And you do get a bit of culture in here. You do get a bit of ethnic variety in here, and you also get Jess Franco's, kind of violence in places, especially the Black Mass, which is very disturbing. So, folks, this was Jess Franco's Mondo Erotico right here, and there's an alternate cover on the flip side, a reversible cover, one of the few that has that, on the Golden Goya collection. Very cool. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to check out all my other reviews on this page. Thank you for being a part of the 10 Room Bizarre YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. There are tons more Jess Franco reviews on this YouTube page, and tons more to come because I love them. Please feel free to check out my own personal films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea. Thank you so much, and good night.